Welcome to LaTricia Creates. I am LaTricia. In today's video, we're going to sew some fabric bookmarks. Let's take a look at the materials for this project. For this project, we're going to make two different types of bookmarks. We're going to make a corner bookmark and we're going to make a rectangular bookmark. For the rectangular bookmark, I'm going to use a single piece of fabric, which I have cut 3 inches wide by 14 inches long. I have a piece of fusible fleece that I cut 6.5 inches long by 2.5 inches wide. I also have a piece of rickrack. It's about 3.5 inches long. I'm going to use this as the tassel. For the corner bookmark, I have 3 pieces of fabric. Mine are cut 4.5 inches. I would suggest cutting them 4 inches. I just happen to have a slew of fabric that I got from Hawaii that was cut 4.5 inches and I didn't want to cut it down. So I'm just keeping it at 4.5 inches. Then I have some fusible interfacing. I have one 4-inch square. Then I have a rectangle that I cut from a 4-inch square. We also need scissors, a point turner, some clips, thread with matching bobbin, an iron, an ironing pad. We need a sewing machine, and the needle I'm going to be using is going to be an 80-12 needle. You ready? Let's make it. The first thing I want to do is iron the fusible fleece onto the fabric and iron the fusible interfacing. Before I do that, what I'm going to do is fold my fabric in half. If you want, you could cut 2 pieces of fabric. I just made it simple by cutting one. Iron that. Then I'm going to put my piece of fusible fleece down on here on the wrong side of the fabric with the adhesive side down. I'm going to flip it over and iron it from the fabric side. I just kind of centered it as best as I can. We're not really going to iron it, we're going to press it. Now I'm going to move this to the side. I'm going to do the same thing for these. We only need interfacing on one side of the fabric. This fabric, this is going to be my folded fabric, so I'm going to fold this in half. Iron it down. Now I'm going to take the fusible fleece, making sure the bumpy side is on the wrong side of the fabric. Center that in there. And iron that down. Then I'm going to take this square here and put it on one side of the fabric. If you want yours to be a little stiffer, you can use interfacing on both sides. I'm only going to do it for one. Let me iron my fabric. It's a little wrinkled. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to center it, flip it over, and press it. Now that I have that done, I'm going to take the triangle piece, match the corners with the raw edges. Then I'm going to put the other piece right side down. Actually, I need to iron this piece. It's pretty wrinkled too. Now I'm going to put it right side down. And it's ready to go. I'm going to pin it. Well, I'm not going to pin it. I'm going to clip it. But if you have pins, you can use pins to pin it. Pin it all around. And we want to leave a small opening. I'm going to put 2 clips here. Which is where I'm going to start and finish. With this one, I'm going to put the rickrack in here, leave a little bit sticking out like that. Pin it as well. I'm going to leave an opening on the side over here. Now I'm ready to head to the sewing machine to sew both of the bookmarks. I'm ready to start sewing. I'm going to use this edge of my presser foot to sew. It's about 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to use a 2.5 stitch length. I'm going to take a couple of stitches forward, then a couple of back stitches, then I'm going to keep on going. Pivot at the corners. I'm going to take a couple of back stitches over the part that I'm going to be using as a tassel, just to keep it secure. Now we're in the home stretch. I'm going to take a couple of back stitches, a couple of forward stitches, and I'm done. Now I'm ready to do the same thing with the corner bookmark. I'm going to take one off. I'm going to take both of these off. Let's try this again. I'm going to drop my foot, line up the edge of the fabric with the edge of this part of the foot. Now I'm going to drop my needle. Take a couple of stitches forward, a couple of stitches back. Stop right here, take a couple of back stitches, a couple of forward stitches, and I'm done. I'll meet you back at the cutting table to put it all together. I am back at the cutting table, ready to trim these threads and finish up the project. After trimming the thread, I'm going to clip the corners, making sure not to cut into the stitching. Now I'm going to turn it right side out. Probably should have made that hole a little bigger, but we can make it work. From here, I'm going to grab my point turner and poke out these corners. Now I'm going to give it a nice little press. I want to straighten out that opening, make it a little neat. It was a little wavy. And here's our cute little corner bookmark. We need to close up the seam. You can either do a top stitch or You can glue it shut. I'm going to seal mine with some adhesive. I'm not going to sew it. So I'm all done with that one for now. And we're just going to do the same thing with this one. Just going to trim it up, cut the corners, flip the right side out, and press it. Same thing with this one. We can take it back to the sewing machine, do a top stitch all the way around. We can even quilt it since it has the fusible fleece in there. We can even put some quilting on here, or we can just close it shut with some type of adhesive. I'm going to finish these up, then I'll come back and show you the final results. Here's a closer look at the final project. This is the rectangle bookmark with the rickrack tassel. It came out really cute. The corner bookmark also came out really cute. I want to show you what it looks like inside of a book. I have two books, one that I think is a standard size book. Here's what it looks like. And I have a larger book. I want to show you what it looks like inside of a larger book. Here's what this looks like. I like the 4.5-inch square, but if you want something smaller, be sure to use a smaller square. I hope you're able to make some of these bookmarks, and I hope you got something out of this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, if you're interested in seeing more bookmark videos, check out these videos that's coming up next. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, keep creating.